San Juan Islands were named by Spanish explorer Francisco de Eliza, who came here in 1791. He named them in honor of the Mexican viceroy he was sailing under. The Spanish weren't the first to visit these islands because they had already been inhabited by Native Americans. The first Europeans wouldn't establish a permanent settlement on the islands until the mid-19th century. Yeah. To jest chyba orka, że ta wysoka. Just over my shoulder here you can see Orcas Island, and understandably most people would assume that the island is named after the large abundance of killer whales that live off its shore, but it's actually short for the Spanish surname Orcasitas, a name given by Francisco de Eliza in 1791. The island is also home to Mount Constitution. Towering 2,400 feet above sea level, is the highest mountain in the San Juan Islands and the second highest oceanic island mountain in the lower 48 states. Yeah, we went to Orcas last time. It's more geared towards nature lovers, but this time we want to explore a bit of history. All visitors traveling to San Juan Island by ferry arrive here in Roche Harbor. With a population of 2,600 residents, is the main commercial port of the entire San Juan Islands archipelago. Its history dates back to 1845, when the Hudson Bay Company laid claim to the island and established a salmon curing station and sheep farm a few years later. Yeah. The town's name comes from not the fact that it was founded on a Friday, but it was actually named after one of the Hawaiian laborers who worked here, whose last name happened to be Friday. It was also here where a Japanese chemist and marine biologist, whose name I will put up on the screen, isolated the proteins which cause bioluminescence in jellyfish. Washington probably isn't the first place that comes to mind when you think of war with the English. And though today the San Juan Islands are known mostly for their peaceful nature, in the 1800s the islands were the site of one of the most bizarre wars in history. The Pig War, as it came to be known, was the result of a border dispute between the US and Britain. Though the Treaty of 1818 officially set the boundary between the US and what was then British-controlled Canada at the 49th parallel, the unique geography of the Pacific Northwest still caused some dispute. And although the Oregon Treaty of 1846 hoped to permanently resolve any conflict by taking into account the region's challenging geography, uncertainty about the official maritime borders still remained, and the shooting of a British pig that had wandered onto an American farm in the summer of 1859 would lead to a 13-year standoff between the British and the Americans, but the borders between the two nations would not be officially finalized until 1908. Amazingly, the only casualty of that war was that unfortunate pig that belonged to that Irishman who worked for the Hudson Bay Company. At the onset of the Pig Wars, both the British and the Americans chose to establish camps in different parts of the island, and this location was the location that was chosen by the British. The English chose to establish their camp on the site of a Native American settlement. And although there were instances of raids and murder, their relationship was for the most part peaceful. The British would often employ the natives as laborers, and the two groups would frequently trade and marry with each other. And of course, the English camp had to have an English garden. After the dispute was settled and the British left the island for good, their camp was in such good condition that a family of homesteaders from Wyoming called the Crooks lived here for more than 3 decades. Here at these limestone quarries at Roche Harbor, where during the Pig Wars, British troops and later American settlers and frontiersmen quarried limestone and processed it at these local kilns. Limestone which they would distribute as a source of income. By 1886, the limestone industry had become so successful that a small town eventually developed. When the company was sold in the 1950s, it transformed from a company town into a booming boating resort and year-round community. Throughout its history, Roche Harbor has been home to some of Puget Sound's most notable residents. Several of its historic buildings now house local businesses, one of which is the iconic Hotel de Haro, named after Captain Gonzalo Lopez de Haro, who sailed under Francisco de Eliza and was the first European to sight the San Juan Islands, and served as the home of prominent Tacoma lawyer and politician John McMillan and his family.
It's just someone's house. Awesome. Yeah.
Below me is the Lime Kiln Point Lighthouse. Constructed in 1913, this 38-foot-high lighthouse was the last major lighthouse to be established in Washington, and also the last lighthouse in the state to be electrified. And here in the 1860s were constructed some more limestone kilns that operated for nearly 6 decades. Manzanita. I didn't know they grew this far north. Yeah, pretty. Oh yeah, it kind of looks like a little garter snake right here.
Oh wow! Good find.
I'll let him go if I can get him on the raft. Oh, there we go. And I'm on the south side of the island where the Americans chose to set up their camp. In stark contrast to the British camp, conditions here were harsh. The men endured isolation, bad food, and immense boredom. For some, numbing their pain with whiskey was worth the punishment from their superiors. While the more stir-crazy chose desertion and even suicide. So I guess in a sense the conflict did claim some human casualties.
Puget Monument, nie wiem, tam przed. Ludzie wchodzą tutaj miejscowi, że przychodzą na traile, tak? A jest.
Oh, we've made one last stop at this cute little roadside church dating from 1882 before heading back to the ferry. Looks like some Norwegian guy.